Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back. All right, we have a new champion at Wimbledon. It was not a super major upset, but it was an upset because Novak Djokovic, even though I didn't make a preview video of the final, in my opinion, he was clearly the man to beat. He was clearly the guy that had more to lose, the guy that was the undisputed best player on grass. To be honest, many players have feared Novak for so long time, but this youngster from Spain, Carlos Alcaraz, the fearless, the guy that plays like his life hangs on the rope, delivered a superb performance, especially after losing the first set where he got a breadstick. It's really downhill and uphill if you want to defeat Novak Djokovic, especially after losing the first set. It's almost impossible. But Carlos Alcaraz had some fortune. He not only fortune, he played tremendously good tennis. He played exactly like he had to defeat Novak Djokovic. And Novak Djokovic didn't put up the best performance in his career, but it was not his best Grand Slam final performance, but Carlos Alcaraz didn't give him so much to work with, like we have seen Novak defeat previous players in this Grand Slam tournament, especially the last four ones, where he defeated Kevin Anderson, Roger Federer, Matteo Berrettini, Nick Kyrgios. All of those guys didn't have the stability, the consistency, except Roger Federer, who only lost due to the breakdown and of course, let's be honest, he choked in that match because he was better on every stats. But that doesn't matter. You have to win the big points like Novak Djokovic did against Federer. And he did what Federer could not do. He defeated Novak Djokovic in a Wimbledon final, in his first attempt also. But all due respect to Roger Federer for what he has achieved in his career, but this moment is all about Carlos Alcaraz. Some people have said that Carlos Alcaraz had a chance. I said in my preview that I believe that Novak Djokovic was and are the better grass court players, since he hasn't faced. There are really not many great grass court players like before. Most of them have retired. We only have Novak Djokovic left. Maybe a Rafa if he's still thinking of playing Wimbledon in the future. Now we have Carlos Alcaraz, who has really showed why he is so good. And I'm going to tell you what make Djokovic so good on all Grand Slam. It's because he can adjust from surface to surface, from hard court to clay, to grass, to indoor. And that's why Novak Djokovic has been so great through his long career. And also, Carlos Alcaraz is showing those signs because he has now won a Grand Slam on hard court at US Open. He has won on grass here. He has reached two other quarterfinal in Grand Slams and one time semifinal, if I'm not mistaken. So he has only made 10 appearances in Grand Slam, and he has won two of them, reached the semifinal on one occasion and the quarterfinal on two occasions. That makes 50% of the Grand Slam that he has played, he has reached at least the second week, at least quarterfinals or better. And his Grand Slam wins are totally 82% if he combined all the Grand Slams, and that's great numbers also. Still, he is very young and he has a lot more to achieve. Let's hope that he can keep this form, because Novak really needs more competition like this. But today, Carlos Alcaraz showed the world, the youngsters below him, even though none of them are close to be as great as him, that Novak Djokovic is a human. He's not unbeatable. We saw Danny Medvedev do that in the US Open final 2 years ago. So I believe that Carlos Alcaraz Still not the king in the tennis circuit. For now, he is, of course, he's the world number one. He has beaten the best player in the world, and he really deserves this moment for himself. But we all know that Novak Djokovic is far from finished. He will take this and try to just start all over again. And same with Carlos Alcaraz. They're gonna go and like champions, these two guys are. They're gonna just continue and leave this behind them. He's gonna enjoy the moment, of course. He really deserves this, because the mental toughness that he showed, dropping the first set 6-1, and then in the second set when he went into a tie break, where he had plenty of breakpoint opportunities, he really had the chance to not take that second set to tie break. But when he went to tie break, I thought that, oh no, Novak, even though I root for Novak in that match, I'm going to be honest. I said before, I think that Novak will win, and I always stays with my prediction. But that was my brain talking. But in this case, my heart also felt a little bit in Novak's favor. But sometimes you manage to get things right, sometimes you don't. This was one of those moments, but when you clearly lose to a guy that was better than you today, it's really no shame. But in that second set tiebreak, I really thought Novak, the clutch beast player in these biggest points, especially in tiebreaks, he will take it. But Carlos Alcaraz was, I think it was 3-0 under in the second set tiebreak, and then managed to bring out his best tennis. Novak did some crucial mistakes there, and in the end, Carlos Alcaraz really played the point from the baseline. He really dictated. He wasn't fear. He didn't have any fear. He relied on his game and just did his A plan. And he managed to win that second set tiebreak, 8-6. And then in the third set, I don't know what happened to Novak. Like I said, Novak can disappear sometimes. Carlos Alcaraz was on a steady course. He wasn't dropping in level. He was remaining on the same path. He played rock solid baseline tennis. He didn't do so many unforced errors in that third set, and got that double break like Novak got in the first set, and really just, it wasn't a cruise control set. Novak, I don't know what happened. It was not the normal Novak we saw in that third set. And then in the fourth set, in the middle of the third set, we had that marathon game when Novak served. It was an epic 25-minute game where none of these guys could really put like you say, the trophy in the bag, the cake on the plate. It was an roller coaster, like you back and forth for 25 minutes. I thought that this was gonna never end, and Carlos relied on his baseline game. He returned those Novak Djokovic deuce court serves pretty damn good, and managed to finally break him, and the air went through Novak Djokovic in that third set, and he was more focusing on the fourth set, to be honest, after that point. And Carlos Alcaraz really started out really shaky in the beginning of the fourth set. Novak played some great tennis there. He was back in his normal shape. We could see that how he penetrated those shots with his backhands, and how he dictated the baseline rallies. And Carlos Alcaraz really was a little bit nervous, but Novak raised his level much more than he did in the third set. So he really deserved that fourth set. And when that set was over, I thought to myself, now the beast has waken up again. Now Novak is in the front seat. Now Novak will take the air and he will punish Alcaraz. I thought that Novak was gonna hold his unforced errors numbers back. It's gonna be hard for Alcaraz to squeeze out unforced errors from Novak's racket in the fifth set. They went toe to toe, and finally, I think it was 3-2 or something like that. When Carlos was up in lead 3-2, he managed to break Novak Djokovic, or maybe was it one game earlier? I forgot. To be honest, after that, I was really surprised that Novak managed to lose his serve there, because he has really started to serve much better. In the second and first set, Novak's first percent service numbers were very, very low. I was really shocked. His serve was not there today. His reliable serve was not rock solid today, and that was one of the key factors why he lost this 5-set battle, who was over in 4 hours and 30 or 40 minutes. I forgot, around 4.5 hours. And Alcaraz really was not disturbed. He was not nervous. He was not shaky. He really went for the trigger. He had this offensive approach like Federer had, but I said to myself, maybe maybe Novak will give the slightest chance. If you get this slightest chance, he will come back. Because when Novak is down and you serve it for the match, he doesn't give you gifts. He doesn't give you anything for free. He let the balls in play. He let you do the job. He will say to you, you have to create a winner or something like that. Extraordinary to defeat me. Carlos had 2 great serve, and one of the serve built up for that lethal third shot that really sealed the deal in the end. And the 20-year-old Spaniard won his second Grand Slam in his young career. And really, Carlos Alcaraz played a tremendously rock-solid baseline game today, even though he did some unnecessary unforced errors in the beginning. But I think that was only due to his nervousness. What's one mistake? After all, Wimbledon is the biggest tennis tournament of all. And you go up against a guy that has only lost 1 Wimbledon finally in 8 attempts. It's very difficult when you are entering the court and you have Novak Djokovic on the other side of the net. You are not in pole position. You are an underdog. And he was very smart in this match, Carlos Alcaraz. His decision making was superb. Even though his drop shots didn't work to 100%, he really tried. He really tried to mix up the game, take time away from Novak, do the unexpected, playing from coast to coast, try Novak not to give the dictating stick to Novak Djokovic's hands. He was fearless. His nerves were under control most of the match. He really took risks and took advantage of his forehand to dictate the game. And these two guys moved tremendously on court. The best movers on court, the best baseline footwork game is from Novak Djokovic, Svites, and Carlos Alcaraz. Those guys, nobody moves and predicts the ball better than these two guys. It was like Novak faced a younger version of himself. He faced a younger version of his former self when he was in that age. But to give Carlos even more credit, his game is more complete than all of the big three, maybe except Rafa in that age. I think Rafael Nadal was better than those three guys at the same age. Federer was a little bit a late bloomer, but he was around 20, 21 when he really started to play his A game, when he played his peak tennis. Novak, I think it was around 23, 24, 25 when he reached his peak. It's a normal age for most of these multiple Grand Slam winners. But Nadal, I think he peaked earlier than those two. And the longevity that Novak Djokovic has through his almost 20 years as a professional player is really amazing. He's still fresh. He's still hungry. He still plays great tennis. He's so experienced. He really knows what to do on court. And these two guys, especially Novak Djokovic, is the definition of tennis and how you play the most effective and solid tennis. All right, a little bit about the stats. Carlos Alcaraz won 70% behind his first serves and 50% behind his second serves. Novak won 62% behind his first serves and 56% behind his second serve. Those numbers are red alert. That's a red flag there. If he had raised his service number a little bit more, he would have won this match, of course. It was only 2 points between these guys. Carlos Alcaraz won 168 points, and Novak Djokovic only won 166 points total in this match. And Novak Djokovic winner contra unforced errors number was nothing that was very is something that was very unusual. He did 8 more unforced errors than winners, 32 winners and 40 unforced errors. And Carlos Alcaraz did 21 more winners than unforced errors, 66 winners for him and 45 unforced errors. But he spread those unforced errors. The numbers were very average in those 5 sets, and that was, except from the first set, he really had that high level. His low level was very high through the entire match, if you count from the second set and further on into the ending of the match. And both of these guys, especially Novak, look at these numbers. Carlos Alcaraz approached the net 46 times and won 28 of those. Novak won 39 out of 65. So that means, if you have seen all the match, trying to find solution to really get into Carlos Alcaraz's head, Novak really tried to shorten up the points. He really tried to approach the nets more often, 65 times on 65 occasions. He did great results, but Carlos Alcaraz, who in my opinion in this match was the better guy from the baseline. When they trade duels, mostly Carlos Alcaraz was the better player. He really pushed Novak back. Novak's artillery was not 100% shape, but that was due to the length of the shots. Like I said, it was like facing him younger himself. And Carlos Alcaraz had really done his homework. I think that he has watched plenty of hours how Novak plays on grass, and was really and that's a great job from his team with Juan Carlos Ferrero in his box, that has done a tremendous research, because even though you know how to defeat Novak, even though if you have seen him play a million times, it's hard to bring that to the court, because Novak, he won't slip that easy. In this battle, I think that the better player won in the end, to be honest. It's well-deserved victory for Carlos Alcaraz. He really, in my opinion, was the better guy in this 5-set battle. Like I said, the battle on this Grand Slam final was on 3 major points, in my opinion. It was the serve, it was the returning game, and it was the baseline game. And all of those sections, Carlos was a little bit better. Especially this, he won more, protected his serve much better than Novak Djokovic. And what a mental beast. 1-0 down against Novak Djokovic, and then coming into the second set, entering a tie break, where you know how clutch Novak Djokovic is, and being down 3-0 and still turn the tables around and win that second set. Really show the fighting spirit and the mental toughness that Carlos Alcaraz already have. But we all knew that Carlos Alcaraz is here to do great things. He is not the young prospect number one he's the number one prospect for a reason. It's because he's so good at everything. He is a great server. He's a great returner. He's a great baseline player. He's a great offensive player. And don't forget how great he is defensively. Super defense, super movement, clutch, and still learning the game, still developing his game, still reaching for higher heights, still a newbie, but still humble, willing to learn, and he knows that he has something better than Medvedev, Tsitsipas, Zverev, all of those guys that everybody talks about day in, day out, the guys that is gonna beat Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal and Casper Ruud, for God's sake, who has reached 3 Grand Slam finals, even though he didn't have a chance in either one of them. Nothing fears Carlos Alcaraz anymore, because now he knows he can beat Novak, especially on grass, who I would say he's more dominating on grass than he is on a hard court. At the Australian Open, you can at least, before he could have taken me to a 5-setter, you could really squeeze him. You can really use the pace of the bounce on the hard courts. You really can slide there. On grass, it's so fast. The ball is bouncing so low. You have to play more flat. You have to play more. You can't use your heavy topspin so much. So for me, to be honest, it wasn't not a major upset. It was an upset, of course. I will be lying if you have watched my preview for this tournament. I said that Novak Djokovic is going to be the champion. He's going to defeat Alcaraz. I said that Sinner is going to reach the semifinal. I had Medvedev in the quarters. I had Rublev. I was wrong about Roberto Bautista Agut. I was wrong about Francis Tiafoe. And I was wrong about Cameron Norrie, who I said due to draw he was going to reach the semifinal. So 5 out of 8. And it's like that in tennis. It's very hard to predict sometimes. I thought that this was one of the easiest Grand Slam to predict the winner at least. But Novak got dethroned in the same way that Rafael Nadal defeated Roger Federer in that epic battle in the Wimbledon final in 2008. This has similar magnitude. The only difference is that the age gap, of course. Novak is much older than Carlos. I think it's at least 15 or 16 years between them. So that makes a huge difference also. But Novak will still continue to play. He will still, I think, collect a couple of more Grand Slams. The same goes with Carlos Alcaraz. Today he was the better man and played one of his best matches in his career. At least the best career, because when he won that US Open final against Casper Ruud last year, it was not like this. He really defeated in that final he was the huge favorite. But in this match, he was the underdog. The guy that some people cheered for and hoped that finally somebody have to beat Novak Djokovic in Wimbledon. It was so long time ago. It was like 2013 where Andy Murray beat him in the final. I think that was the year since last time Novak Djokovic lost the Wimbledon final 10 years ago. Federer had tried 3 times. Nadal have tried. Berrettini, Kyrgios, and Kevin Anderson, all of them have tried and failed, but the youngster with the huge firepower, with the few huge artillery that really, look, the power tennis, the youngsters like Rune and Alcaraz, they know, they are taught to handle baseline players, especially aggressive baseline players like Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. The other generation had played mixed tennis. Some of them have tried serve and volley. But the young generation since 2-3 years ago, the guys that has come up now to the tour, Alcaraz, Rune, maybe, I won't say any other names, Sinner maybe, they have trained, they play this baseline, aggressive, hard-hitting tennis. They are used to that. That's what they are fed into their head. They said, if you have to beat Novak, you have to play like Novak. You have to be a little bit better version of Novak. You have to be a wall. You can't afford crucial mistakes like Rublev did, crucial mistakes like Sinner did. Those two guys didn't have what Carlos Alcaraz had. He had the belief. They didn't have the belief. Carlos entered the court, at least he thought he would have a chance. To be honest, nobody enters the court and say, I'm going to lose this match. He's much better than me, especially on the ranking. But when you are on the center court against Novak in a Grand Slam final, you're getting shaky in your pants. Your knees are getting shaky. Even a guy like Roger Federer was shaky. If you don't believe me, go watch those battles. Especially the US Open semifinals. Especially the 2019 final where Roger was better on every freaking stats in that match. Every freaking stats. Look, from first serve, second serve, winners, breakpoint opportunities, returning game, he was better, but he lost. And today, Alcaraz didn't do that. Big congratulations to Carlos Alcaraz for a tremendously well done and well performed tournament. And congrats to Novak Djokovic also for do this week after week, year after year, 20 years now. Magnificent stats still from him. Even though he lost, he's still a champ. But for now, we have a new champ on the tennis circuit, and he's still gonna continue the ranking next week as a number one. Alright guys, thank you for watching this long video. Take care and bye bye.